Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up. Please rise. The next president of the United States of America joins us to talk about the deceitful Republican National Committee and the imbalanced Ted Cruz. Donald Trump, welcome to the Savage Nation. This is quite a dust-up. It's amazing to see what's going on here. It's
amazing, actually, Michael. I've always dealt with people that I've had some real bad ones in my life, but I haven't seen people like this that would lie to this extent. And then you also see the way that room was set up the other night, where everybody in the room, and I won the debate. Everybody tells me I won, but the room was such a setup. It was ridiculous.
Every time you said a word, you got booed. What were they, all Cruz supporters?
They were mostly not actually for Cruz. They were mostly for Bush. He has 148 million. That's all he has. He's got the 148 million, but nothing going. And they were.
I watched you and Bush, and I got to tell you something. This guy is so weak. It was embarrassing to see him up there. He looked like he was going to break into tears. And the best retort of the night, Donald, was when he said, "My mother's the strongest woman I ever met." You said, "Then she ought to run." I agree with you. Barbara Bush should be running, not him.
It's a crazy thing. And look, he's not a good candidate, but because of the connections, he has $140 million. Most of it's been wasted. So let's see where he goes after this.
So Donald, I need to come back to the topic we've been all screaming about here, which is Scalia. Was he murdered? I know it's pretty brutal to say that. And I'm not wanting to drag you into this, but this is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I went on the air and said we need the equivalent of a Warren Commission. We need an immediate autopsy before the body is disposed of. What do you think of that?
Well, I just heard today, and just a little while ago, actually. I just landed, and I'm hearing it's a big topic, that's the question. And it's a horrible topic, but they say they found a pillow on his face, which is a pretty unusual place to find a pillow. I can't tell you I can't give you an answer. Usually I like to give you answers, but I literally just heard it a little while ago. It's just starting to come out now, as you know, Michael.
All right. Well, I've been covering it for an hour and a half. There's a lot more to it than that. There was no medical examiner present. There was no one who declared the death. It was there. It was done by telephone from a U.S. Marshal appointed by Obama himself. So let me not try to drag you into something you haven't studied, because I don't think it would be fair to you and to the audience. I think after you look into these facts, Donald, you yourself will have to come to some different conclusions than you may think. But let's go into the lies of Senator. I'm reading your headline. Donald J. Trump responds to the lies of Senator Cruz and warns of legal action. Please tell the audience what that's about.
Well, everything that I've never seen a guy like this. He'll take something. For instance, because you've covered me a long time, that I'm very strong on guns and Second Amendment, right? And He'll say Donald Trump does not believe in the Second Amendment. I'm pro-life. They'll say Donald Trump isn't pro-life. I'm, Common Core. You got to end it. We want to end Common Core, bring education to local. He'll say Donald Trump likes Common Core. I've never seen anything like it where somebody will just take whatever he wants to say, whatever the voters maybe don't like, and just say that's what he likes. Now, at the end and don't forget, he did this with Ben Carson. He said, Ben Carson has left the race, everybody vote for me. And they've dragged people into the voting halls, and thousands of votes went to him, in the opinion of many. So, and then he did a voter violation form, which is like a fraudulent document. I've never seen a guy who cheats like this. It's unbelievable. And what he says is, he'll just make things up. He'll take a topic, Michael, and just say the opposite. But like on guns and Second Amendment, I've been very strong on Second Amendment, and I have my whole policy out there. Everybody knows it, and they certainly hear it with the speeches. And he'll say, "Oh, he doesn't believe in the Second Amendment." So I have never seen. So I figured I better have a news conference, because I don't want him to do what he did to Carson. He apologized after the election to Carson. That doesn't help.
Donald, look, you come from a very tough background as a contractor in New York City, which anyone in the building trades will know is the toughest place on earth to get anything done. You build these amazing skyscrapers. You redevelop railroad yards over a 30-year period. So you've dealt with some really tough hombres over your life. Have you ever seen anything as dirty as politics in your entire life?
No, politics is dirty. Cruz is a liar, and I've dealt with liars before, but this one's about the worst I've dealt with. And he holds up the Bible, Michael, and says, he's this great Christian, but, great Christians don't lie. And he, I've been very surprised by it because I've met some very bad dudes over my life. You understand that. I've met them about as bad as they come. But in terms of, and I've met them a lot tougher than him, much tougher, like day and night. But in terms of the lies, I've never seen anybody that can lie like him.
So where do you go from here? You have a debate. Again, the liberal media is setting up Republican candidates against each other to make you look bad. They're dragging you into fighting with each other, and Hillary gets away with it all. What happens next, Donald? Why don't these debates come to an end already?
Well, we had a debate. Supposedly, I came out very well in the debate. Drudge and Time Magazine, they do these polls, and I won all the polls and did well. But, it's interesting because the questions that were asked were very provocative questions, and it made the other people go a little bit crazy. And I don't see those questions being asked of the Democrats. In fact, the Democrat debates are so boring. I mean, they're not even watchable. But
what about, the death of Scalia? You actually commented on it during the debate. It was the first question. You certainly don't think that Hussein Obama should have the right to do an interim appointment, do you?
No, I actually commented that we're going to have to make sure the Senate and Mitch McConnell holds it up. We've been very disappointed in the job they do, but they have to hold it up. And I've been very strong on that. And, I would appoint I actually named two judges, Diane Sykes, et cetera, and I named two judges that would be good, very conservative judges. And as an example, Cruz went out and said, I'm going to appoint liberal judges. I'm the only one that named judges. I mean, I will appoint conservative. But he said, Trump is going to name liberal judges. Now, how do you find,
you name William Bill Pryor Jr. and Diane Sykes. You are on record for saying those are the kinds of judges who you would appoint to the Supreme Court. So how could he say you would appoint a liberal to the Supreme Court? Where does that come from?
Michael, he just says it. He said, Donald Trump's going to appoint a liberal. Okay, now everyone says, oh, but we don't want that. I mean, the guy really is bad. I haven't seen anything quite like this. He said, I'm the only one in the debate that talked about two people. Now, doesn't have to be them, but they're two good examples of people you can support and appoint. So we'll see what happens. But I heard that my news conference was well covered, and we'll get the word out.
Well, I appreciate you being on the Savage Nation. Look, this is a very serious time in American history. It got much worse over the weekend, Donald. We had a razor-thin savior of the conservative, or shall I say traditional ways in America, Antonin Scalia, who was found dead under suspicious circumstances. And now this character in the White House who nobody with a rational mind should trust is trying to railroad Loretta Lynch down our throats. That came out today as his number one choice. Can you believe this?
Oh, it's a Loretta Lynch. Wow, that's his number one choice. Did that actually come out today, huh?
That's being floated around, and of course she was handpicked by Al Sharpton, Donald. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so that's where they are.
Well, look, I'm not asking you to make me a Supreme Court justice when you become president. Don't get me wrong, but somebody's got to stop it and say, don't do this until there's a new president, whoever it may be, and I hope it's you.
The Senate should be able, with a majority, they should be able to do it very easily. It's not that long a period, and they should be able to do it. But they've been letting us down all year long, and they've been letting us down for years. So we'll see what happens. But
Donald, you know that just 5-6 days before Scalia was found dead with a pillow over his face, he was the lead voice against Obama's attempts to railroad that green gangsterism down our throats. He knocked it out. He was the one who did it.
Yeah. Well,
so, it's very, again, look, I'm in talk radio. You're running for the presidency. It's two different worlds in some ways. And I don't want to drag you into my world because it's quite a different world, by the way, than the one you're in right now. So before you get to the primary, which is what, Monday, Saturday? When is the primary in South Carolina?
Saturday in South Carolina, Saturday. The voting day is Saturday.
So that's another big day in America that we're all going to be watching. What do the polls show right now?
Well, it shows that I have a lead in the polls, but you never know what happens, and I just hope everybody gets out and votes. It's called Make America Great Again. I hope everybody gets out and vote. But I right now have a lead in the poll. Who knows what it is? But we'll see. We're going to know on Saturday night, Michael. You'll be watching.
Yes, I will be. Donald Trump, good luck, and thank you for being kind enough to come on to the Savage Nation.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Michael. See you soon.